My boyfriend got really jacked, and now I'm no longer attracted to him. TLDR, boyfriend changed his body type. No longer sexually attracted to him. We've been together almost 4 years. Recently, he's been getting really into fitness and weightlifting. Our cupboard is full of protein powders, and he's seriously gained a ton of muscle and is significantly more cut than he was before. This is not saying he was out of shape before. We've both always been healthy, but the focus on weightlifting and muscle growth is new as of 6 months ago. I should clarify that when I say he's gotten into fitness, I don't mean the whole culture that can negatively come with it. He's not Luke Maxing or fallen into the red pill, or anything. He's still the extremely sweet, generous guy he always has been. The only personality change is around our meals where he insists on weighing out his portions and cooking for himself. I can understand the intensity and dedication as I used to dance semi-professionally, but quit to focus on academics halfway through college. This is all to say, I still love him, but something about his new body turns me off. The best I can describe it, as you know, in the Marvel movies? He used to be more like Loki, and he's now Thor. There's nothing against Thor, but I feel like there's a lot of girls like me that agree that Loki is objectively hotter. Our sex life has suffered. I don't think his stamina is better by any measurable degree, and the posturing and visual of him shirtless gives me more images of stuffy Hollywood actors and fake online personalities than the sweet guy I know he is. General intimacy is also on the decline as things like cuddling or just making out aren't as comfortable for me anymore. How can I explain this to him? I'm sure he can feel me pulling away, and by God, I don't want to hurt him. I'm wondering was his reasoning for all this is other than simple self-improvement. I promise I still give him compliments and pump up his self-esteem just as much as I used to, so if it's an insecurity thing, I'm hoping it's not for me. All this is to say I have no plans on breaking up, but I'd like to be physically attracted to him again. Edit. I think people are misinterpreting what I'm saying. We're both muscular already. I'm talking about the new build on top of what was already there. I won't speak on steroid use, because if he's using it without my knowledge, and I have no oversight. Someone in my DMs mentioned something about a Twitter post a few months ago from the artist Ollie Merce in which he changed dramatically to be what a lot of men find more conventionally attractive, and people were shocked by women's preference in the comments. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If I can post links in here, but he went from a bit skinnier in the before pic to not as dramatic, but still align with the second pic. Someone also said something about a meme floating around a while ago using the Loki and Thor analogy. I don't remember seeing it, but perhaps I did and subconsciously saved it to use here. I don't see the new development as improving himself or necessarily healthy. I don't think having the lowest body fat percentage as possible is healthy. I also worry about his cardiovascular health, as the increase of mass makes your heart work harder and doesn't necessarily correlate to better health outcomes. Especially if you neglect cardio in fear that it limits your gains. Perhaps I have some dance trauma to blame for this, or perhaps I'm interpreting the science wrong, but this is my view of things. I'm not sure if Reddit is being Reddit here, but the general consensus in the last few hours is that I'm a bad person and I should dump him. That's not happening. I still love him deeply, and with all my heart, I'm simply asking how to get over address the newfound lack of physical and sexual attraction. And even then it's not 100 to 0. My libido didn't fall off a cliff. It's a preference, which I can overlook due to so much other good in him. Forgive me for being defensive, but the amount of assumptions people have made about our relationship is astounding. I am not insecure personally or in our relationship. He supported me when I was a stressed out mess finishing my degrees, and I'm supporting him as he finishes his, both emotionally and partially financially. Lastly, I haven't thought of this before, but I got tipped off about the possible intention to propose right after graduation, and a new part of me thinks he's doing this to look as good as possible during those upcoming milestones. I guess we'll see. Update. Hi, I really don't feel obligated to update, but I felt it was a little important due to the amount of attention my post got. Before doing so, though, I wanted to address everything systematically, so scroll down a bit if you only want the update. My lack of desire does not come from the fact that his body has changed. It comes specifically from the type of ultrafit his body has changed into. Upon reflection, I kind of just find the bulging muscles, super veiny, dehydrated, and shrink-wrapped look gross. I still think I speak for a lot of women when I say this. That's all to say it's a preference. I don't care what you think is good looking. I'm talking about myself and my relationship, which should only consist of two people's opinions. Speaking of opinions, I tried my best to read all the comments, and wow, people got passionate lol. Breaking up was never on the table, and the insistence we do so was profoundly unhelpful. I'll acknowledge that, upon reflection, I have a bias towards certain body types. But so do almost everyone else. Mine partially stems from being in the dance world, but the sentiment I have towards a super chiseled look is shared by a lot of women. I would even go so far as to say most. One of the things I did take away from my previous post is that I was doing nothing good by keeping myself from talking to him. Between our schedules and other complications, getting sick, last-minute travel, we finally got the chance, and I got the courage to talk about 2 weeks ago. We were in the house joking around and chatting about various plans as well as reflecting on our past. Some good advice I took from here was to phrase it along the lines of, "I miss your old body," to which he didn't react to the revelation positively or negatively. He just gave me some affection, and we continued doing our own thing. This last weekend, we had an event to go to that was somewhat affiliated with fitness. There I asked if he was doing it for himself or if there was something underlying. So we finally had a more productive conversation where we were able to lay down that, yes, he's noticed I've pulled away sexually, but he attributed it to general life changes and stress. He now knows I'm not into his body the way it is currently. Feelings were bruised a bit on both sides, but nothing we haven't already gotten over. He has a desire to spend more quality time together. This might mean cooking together again, or manifest as going to the gym with him, as I primarily attend my work-provided one. Any other suggestions about how to increase time together without expending too much energy? Lastly, he's been working out so hard in his own self-interest, but we were able to uncover that it's more of a stress response and a way of obtaining control than a desire to look a certain way. I should have prefaced but didn't at the time because I felt that it was too much information to divulge online, but he's in his final semester of a graduate degree in epidemiology, which you can imagine is extremely important and stressful. On top of that, as well as actively searching for postgraduate employment, his father is in hospice. Which is actually where I got the tip-off that he might potentially propose soon, as he would want his father to see him engaged before he passes. Also to add, as for why I couldn't just open up and talk to him, with our current schedules we only see each other for a few hours in the evening if lucky, and it was much more important to me that we have a pleasant evening and unwind than bring up something potentially uncomfortable. So all in all, he's aware, we had a mature conversation about it. We uncovered where the actual tension originates. We might try to start cooking together going out again. And we still love each other, but it would probably be a good idea for him to see a therapist for a second after all this. Overall, it's a small bump in our relationship, not the devastating crash and burn Reddit likes for it to be. I'm looking at it through the lens of this too shall pass. There's being fit for health, which we both already were, and there's jacked for aesthetics. I do not think pushing to achieve such a physique is an upgrade in any way. I do not find it healthy, nor do I think it's sustainable. Jealousy and insecurity have nothing to do with the fact that I think dieting for an ultra-low body fat percentage should not and cannot be construed as bettering yourself. Having so much muscle mass doesn't, in fact, correlate directly to strength, and the cardiovascular and hormonal risks are not worth it. The discipline is admirable, but I think we're in a strange place in history where some people find that such proportions are the peak of human performance and are most desirable, and that it is something that is realistic and attainable that everyone should strive towards. At a certain point, putting so much focus on body composition and having such a tight grip on your food restrictions borders on orthorexia. I was a dancer. I know what eating disorders look like. I can say with confidence that I feel like, along with being more attractive, my boyfriend was healthier before all this. I'm not showing him this post partially because of the proposal thing, but also because you guys can kind of be assholes, lol. TLDR, we spoke. The real villain is stress. Better communication is better. We good.